Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel again. For once, it's not a hair review. This month marks 1 year since I made the big move to Montreal. I figured what better video to stuff my fat ass to than this one. So I ordered from Poulet Rouge. I got poutine. I've always called it poutine. I'm pretty sure everyone calls it poutine. Everyone in Montreal calls it poutine. The funny thing about poutine or whatever in Montreal is like they actually literally eat poutine all the time. Anyways, Montreal versus Toronto. To be honest, I just want to eat. I'm very hungry. Let's start with the most the question that everybody asks me about. I'll just start with the reason why I moved here. There's two reasons why I moved here. One was because of my boyfriend, and one was because of a job. But really the whole story is, I had just started dating my boyfriend. Just started dating. And I was complaining to him about my struggle of finding jobs in Toronto. And he told me, well, I bet you can find a job really easily in Montreal. And I'm like, no. And he's like, yeah. And I said, no. And he said, just try. So I tried, and literally 3 days after putting out my resume, I got 2 job interviews, and then I got a job right away. Wild. And the job was in my career field, which is what I was looking for. And I was a bit iffy about it because I'm like, this relationship's new. This city is French. Je parle anglais. Worst case scenario, I could go back home. So that's why I moved here. About the language barrier. How are you doing with the language barrier? Have you learned French yet? No, I have not learned French yet. I only know the French that I learned in high school, which is real shit. Est-ce que je peux aller à la toilette, s'il vous plaît? I learned 10% more. But regardless, so the language barrier, it's kind of tough. Everyone says it's not that bad. Yes, it is, because most of the time when I go to McDonald's and I try to order, they don't speak English. I be talking in English, they're answering back in French. I'm not gonna order shit no more. Je ne parle pas français. But it's not impossible. There are areas in Montreal that are generally more English or generally more bilingual. So we're talking about cost of living. Everyone always eats spicy food when they do this. So I got spicy chicken and I put jalapenos in it. I'm good, I got water, I'm good. So cost of living. The rent in Toronto right now is so high and depressing. I actually want to cry. I'm gonna say average $1,700 for the greater Toronto area and $2,000 for Toronto. In Montreal, I'm gonna say $900, and for the greater Montreal area, I'm gonna say $800. My apartment is $840 a month. I lied. I feel no, even Montreal, just Montreal, it would be average $800 because I have a friend who lives in West Island and her apartment is $650. And yeah, $650. I was paying $1,000 to share a 1-bedroom with my friend. His rent was $1,800. My part was $1,000 because I had the master bedroom. So average rent in Toronto $1,800. Average rent in Montreal $800. So there's a $1,000 difference. So we got rent, insurance, car insurance specifically, because I don't know about renter's insurance. Car insurance. When I lived in Brampton, I think $400 a month for car insurance. When I moved to Mississauga, I was paying $320 a month for my car insurance. When I moved here in Laval, my car insurance was $115 a month. And then when I moved to Snowden, Montreal, my car insurance went up to 170 because I'm living in the city and I'm really close to downtown. 170 instead of 320 or instead of 400. The food. Okay, so this is kind of sad. The food is actually more expensive. But when I tell people that, they're like, oh, see, it's not worth it. Yes, it is. It's not a big difference to the point where I'm gonna need to go back to Toronto and pay $2,000 for my apartment and over $300 for my insurance. Gas. It costs more here. That one's pretty good. When the gas is $1.14 in Toronto, here it's gonna be $1.22 or like $1.20. It sucked, but at least my insurance was at $300. And then phone's the last one. The phone deals here are way better. So overall, when you compare all of the cost of living, Montreal is way cheaper. When I was job hunting in Toronto, the jobs for graphic designers, like entry level, even a lot with experience, were offering minimum wage, which in Toronto, minimum wage is $15, I think. But they were offering minimum wage, but they were expecting
like, oh, you gotta be a graphic designer. You gotta know how to do all the graphic design shit. Oh, and you gotta do user interface and experience. So you gotta know how to build apps, which means you need to know how to program. But you don't learn in graphic design school, so you better have gone to school and learn how to learn it on your own. You also need to know how to edit videos. You need to learn how to edit videos. You need to know how to use SEO marketing. You need to know how to use Google Analytics. You need to know social media management.
all these things, but we are only gonna pay you $15 an hour. Meanwhile, I came here and this job is like, oh, we just need you to edit logos. We pay $20 an hour. It's full-time on a contract with benefits, and after a year, you're eligible for a raise. You know, how do you find a job there if you only speak English? Which I thought would be impossible. Even after I found a job here, I was so nervous, like, okay, is this the only job I'm gonna find here? Because I only speak English. And the job market here is very interesting. What I can say is, after the first job that I've had, it actually, the company ended up closing down and I couldn't stay anymore because I was also on a 1-year contract. I found a new job as a social media manager for a hair company. I only needed to speak English for because they were marketing themselves to the rest of Canada and the United States. I left that job and I got a new job that I start tomorrow for a furniture company where I'll be editing the photos of their furniture for like their website and other sites that they sell their furniture on. So that job, they're like, yeah, we don't need you to speak French. Oh my God. But outside of my career field too, I can't work like customer service. Like I can't be a waitress. I need to be bilingual. So I was looking for call centers, and I actually got hired at 2 call centers that just wanted English sales reps. I found both of those jobs in a week. The jobs are there. So there's a lot of English jobs that are not getting filled. So when they do have people who apply, it's like you have a higher chance of getting the job because there's less competition. In Toronto, when you're applying for a job, you're competing with everybody who applies. Whereas here, there's less people to compete with because not that many people are qualified. The club scene here. When you're from Toronto, you usually go to Montreal to party, and it's super lit. The very first time I came here was with my girlfriends, and we came up here to party. Then when you live here, you kind of realize all the clubs are on the same street. There's like 6 clubs here. And out of those 6 clubs, 1 of them is a black club, maybe 2. Whereas in Toronto, the club scene is popping. I don't know how many clubs there are there, but they're everywhere. There's just so much to pick from. And it's not just in Toronto. There's also outside of Toronto. There's so many clubs. Then you come here and it's like, there's like nothing. The food. I never thought that I would have to discuss the food in Montreal, but it's a problem. And when I say food, I mean like the restaurants and shit. First of all, they do not have Popeyes here. They do not have LA Boiled. They do not have Red Lobster. They don't have Dave and Buster's. It's like they don't fucking have anything. They don't have anything here. So they have McDonald's, they have KFC, they have Wendy's. All of it tastes like trash. Like, I know McDonald's is trash food, but it's more trash here. They love steamed hot dogs. I don't understand that. Like, you cannot go downtown Montreal and get like they don't have street food. They're not gonna have the street carts where you buy the street meat that you're not sure if it's healthy or not, or you're not even sure if it's a horse or not, but you're gonna eat it anyways. They don't have that. You know what it tastes like? It tastes like when your mom buys those $2 packs of hot dogs from the grocery store, and then you just put them in a pot with water and boil it. Why are y'all selling this? Oh, there's no Jamaican restaurants here. I lied. There's probably like 3, and they're trash. But that's because there's not really any Jamaican people here. Like, if you like Haitian food, I guarantee you can find a Haitian spot here. Jamaican food? No. My food is probably cold now. Montreal, their national food is a bagel. So I think that pretty much describes everything you need to know about the food over here. The people, it's kind of interesting. At this point, I don't know if I'm comparing anymore as much as I am complaining about Montreal. The people here are very rude. Very rude. They have an attitude that I think is a cultural norm. The problem is you have years of like tension between English and French, where the French have been clearly abused. They've been clearly like ignored, made fun of, and like just completely disrespected. If you look into history, you can't blame them for being here. I mean, you see videos online all the time. Like, I seen one video, or it was like on the news. This was like 2008 though. This guy was going to take the subway, which here they call it the metro. And he needed, I guess, directions or something. So he went to like the info desk person in the metro, and he went to ask a question, and the guy told him that I cannot provide service to you unless you speak French. What was interesting about that was someone in the comment section had said, I wonder how this would play out if roles were reversed, if this was in Toronto. If this was in Toronto, no one's gonna tell you that just because you don't speak English, that we cannot provide you service. But yeah, I know that there's a lot of history behind that as to why things are like that. So I try to keep that in mind, but they got an attitude. And then the last thing that I wanted to talk about is the Black culture in Montreal is weak as fuck. Everyone here is Haitian, and if they're not Haitian, they're Congolese. So, like, if you tell someone here, like, every Black person here is Haitian, they're like, no, I know this one guy that's Jamaican. Yeah, this one guy, but everyone's Haitian. And then there's no Haitians in Toronto, which is weird. I don't really understand that. But the reason that I say the Black culture here is weak, it's not about what type of Black people are here. It's about how the white people treat them. They don't let them have shit. They have their own version of Caravana here. It's so crap. It's called Carafesta. And I realized it's not crap because of the people, it's crap because of the city. The city does not allow them to extend the celebration. It's just absolutely disrespectful, to be honest. The radio stations, there are no hip-hop radio stations here. None of the radio stations will play local Black music. So like if you have Black rappers here, you're not gonna get played on the radio. They just have, all the stations are pretty much white, And then they have 2 stations that will play Drake every now and then. And like they played Normani, but that's because Normani's song is popular. They play pop music. The culture here just kind of lacks, like completely. Absolutely. It fucking sucks. That being said, when I look at the bigger picture, as much as I have complaints about Montreal, it still wins over Toronto simply off the fact that I can actually live here. If you're young, do Toronto, do it. But I'm getting older and I can't afford to give every like 80% of my paycheck to cost of living. Like I just can't. I can always go to Toronto to party or whatever. I need to live. Cost of living here is way better. The apartments are really nice. You can afford it. You can travel, do whatever you need to do. I'm only a 6-hour drive from Toronto. If I fly, I'm sure it's like 2 hours or an hour. So, for that simple matter, when you think about the future, if you want to buy property, you want to raise kids, Montreal is better because it'll be easier to buy property here. The houses are cheaper than Toronto. You raise your kids here, they'll be bilingual, which will be tremendous for them. Like that's so good. And if you raise your kids in Toronto, there's a high possibility that you will not own property. Your kids most likely won't be bilingual because our French education there sucks. And who knows if you'll even be able to save money, like the way everything is so expensive. It's really expensive over there, like really expensive. And I just feel like the city is just a little bit too violent right now. So Montreal wins. Thanks for watching. I did not finish my food. It's cold now. I hate cold food. I am gonna heat it up and eat it by myself. But if you would like to see more videos from me, like, comment, subscribe, the usual. And thanks for watching and listening to me blab on and on and on. Bye.